Shirley
and Monisha from Make It Shine, the Money Podcast.
On today's podcast, it's all about the lottery industry.
Yes, we have some fun facts to share, including tips on beating the odds.
Keep listening to find out.
This little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna make it shine, make it shine, make it shine, make it shine.
Monisha, so this week's Lotto Max jackpot is $25 million.
Woohoo!
Do you have your ticket yet?
I don't, but my husband does. He plays, I think, almost every week. Do you have yours?
No, but I will. So I got inspired preparing for this episode. And over the years, we've had many conversations imagining what it would be like if we won the lottery.
I know.
So in reality, I've only proactively bought one ticket, but I have played scratch and win tickets many times. And every time, even on the first scratch, I'm convinced that I'm going to win.
That's right. Manifest that win, right? My husband's the same way. So I think like for the past 10, 20 years, he's bought a ticket almost on a weekly basis. And even though he hasn't won anything substantial, he still gets excited. And he has a list of ideas of what to do with the money when he wins. His mom has won. And that's actually what keeps him motivated.
Yeah, and they're not alone. So in 2021, the lottery industry is $94 billion US dollars. And the US accounts for 80% of the global market size.
What?
And in Canada, the lottery industry is 10 times smaller at about $9 billion. So we all want to win.
Yeah, no, that's insane. I had no idea that 80% of it is the US. So that's really interesting. I just found out, for example, that lotteries have existed for a long time, but they were only formalized in Canada in the 1970s. And the motivation was actually around fundraising.
Yes, and the most famous event back then was the fundraise for the Olympics in Montreal in 1976. And about $440 million was raised through lottery tickets. And even today, about 27 cents of every dollar spent on lottery tickets is reinvested back into the province or in charity programs.
Very cool. So here's some demographic information of the average lottery ticket buyer. The Ontario Lottery Commission reports that 38% of adults in Ontario play the lottery, and 51% of them identify as male, with an average age of 52 and income of $119,000 a year. And about half of them bought draw-based games like the Lotto 649 or Lotto Max.
So did you know that to ensure fairness, there's a cap on lottery winnings in Canada at $70 million, and that's been reached 6 times.
Huh.
In the States, there's no cap, and the biggest jackpot recorded was just over $2 billion, and it was won by one single ticket holder in California.
Oh my God, that's serious money. So other than the cap, another big difference between winning the lottery in the US versus Canada is in some states, you could actually choose to remain anonymous when you collect your prize. In Canada, when you claim the money, you have to reveal your full name, marital status, job, where you live, and they take a photo of you. And all of this becomes public information on the lottery's website.
So I was browsing the pictures of the winners on the OLG website, and they all looked so happy that it made me happy too. So another key difference between the two countries is that there are no taxes paid on the winnings in Canada. If you win the $70 million jackpot, you get all of it in your bank account. Whereas in the States, the government holds back 24% of the federal taxes, and then there's also state taxes, which range from 0 to 8%, depending on where you live.
Yeah, one of the key differences that drives that is in Canada, everybody pays the taxes. So when you buy lottery tickets or somebody else is buying lottery tickets, the taxes are actually getting paid by you, and the winner doesn't have to pay anything. Whereas in the US, they're like, hey, you won, you can pay the full taxes. So that's one of the key differences.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is also where professional consultants come in to help the winners understand all of this, right? Get a lawyer, an accountant, a financial advisor as well. And this goes for Canadian winners too. I mean, your picture's on a website, people know you have a lot of money. There's going to be distant cousins picking up the phone to call you.
Yeah, so we all joke and dream about winning the lottery and how we would allocate the money. But when it's for real, when you have $70 million suddenly added to your bank account, do you have a plan for it?
Yeah, apart from like quit your job, do nothing, and then you're like, wait a minute.
What do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, you don't need to win the big jackpot for this conversation, right? To consult with a financial advisor. If you look at the lottery winnings on the Canadian website and the amount that they've won, I mean, at least in Canada, many of the winnings are under $1 million, right? A lot of them are in the $100,000 to $500,000 range.
Yeah, so that's still a lot of money. So definitely talk to a financial planner to figure out what to do with your winnings. And you've heard of those stories where people who win the lottery and they end up in debt. And there's something like 70% of winners, they end up spending it all within 5 years.
Yeah, and while you're at it, what about consulting a therapist or a life coach as well? Winning the lottery could be a blessing, or like you said, it could even be a curse. Maybe you just burn it fast. And winning the lottery is more than just a sum of money. Now you have options like, are you still going to work? If not, what are you going to do with your time?
Yeah, and then there's other questions like, do you share and give away some of your winnings to family,
Right.
friends, charities? How much should you give? And then there's what's been labeled as the lotto curse. So there's stories about winners who are robbed, kidnapped, families fighting over the money, or even worse, you could get murdered. For example, one guy found out his wife hired a hitman to kill him.
My God, doesn't she know that she gets 50% of his assets anyway?
50% isn't what she wants, Monisha. She wants all of it.
No, I agree. It's winning the lottery isn't always a blessing. And we know money doesn't buy happiness always, even though the first ever episode of our podcast in season 1 got into a lot of detail about how money definitely can help you buy happiness. But happiness is subjective, right? And it's unique to the individual. The winner might be financially set, but studies show that there's no statistical difference of happiness for lotto winners because happiness is also defined by your relationships, your health, and sense of purpose.
Very true. So I think the amount of winnings matter. So for example, winning 100,000 or even 10,000, that would be awesome because it'll help clear up some bills, pay down debt, or it's a nice boost towards your savings or investments. It gives you a lift for your immediate future, but
Right.
it's not life-changing.
Everything is still the same, right? On the surface. So if the winnings now is in millions of dollars, things are going to be different. Now we're getting into life-changing money, and you can make some of the wilder lottery ideas come true, like a brand new giant mansion, right? A new car, fancy vacations around the world.
So let's do it. Let's win the lottery. Here's the most exciting part of the podcast. So we share how to increase your odds of winning the lottery.
To level set, you have a 1 in 15,000 chance of getting struck by lightning versus a 1 in, get ready for this, 14 million to win the 649 jackpot. So the odds are high, but let's increase these odds. We can make them better.
Yeah. So tip number 1 is to buy multiple tickets for the same game and to play consistently. But there's always a downside to that because now you're spending more money.
I mean, a more economical, fun way to do this is to pool with friends or classic office pool, get in that, participate, and you're getting more chances because there's more money at play.
Yes, definitely get in on those because you don't want to be the one that's left out when everyone wins the lottery and you're the only one left. So there's usually one coworker or friend that's really responsible and they're meticulous about buying and checking the tickets.
Yes, you definitely want to get in on that. Do you remember, Shirley, the Office episode where Daryl doesn't and the entire warehouse wins the office pool?
Yes, I
do. You don't want to be Daryl. The second tip is to play the less popular lotto game. So sure, the prize amount is lower, but actually they have better odds of winning.
I like that one. So the third tip is to avoid numbers that are related to dates like your birthday or anniversary. Because those numbers, they fall between 1 to 31. So even though the probability of the numbers being selected is the same, if you play numbers above 31,
Right.
it may increase the chance of you not having to share the same prize with other players.
Oh, interesting. That's a smart one. So the fourth tip is around studying the most popular drawn numbers. So logically, every number has the same chance of getting drawn, but for some reason, some numbers are actually drawn more than others.
Oh, but another strategy is to do the complete opposite of what you just said. So you could also play the least drawn numbers because if you do and you win, the chances of sharing the prize with another winner is lower.
Okay, and this is the most important part. Write this down. Here are the most frequently drawn numbers for Canada's Lotto Max. So you have to choose 7 numbers between 1 to 50, and there's been about 900 draws since the Lotto Max started in 2009. And in consecutive order, these numbers have been drawn at least 134 times out of 900 draws. They are 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 18, 19, 22, 24, 25, 26, 28, 30, 36, 39, and 47. And the number 39 has been drawn the most at 154 draws.
And then for our American listeners, the Powerball lottery has been drawn just over 3,300 times. So the game is a bit different from Canada's Lotto Max. You have to select 5 numbers from 1 to 69 for the white balls, and then select one additional number between 1 to 26 from the red Powerball. So in total, you're selecting 6 numbers for the game. And the following numbers have all been drawn at least 300 times. So you can pause this podcast at any time to write it down. In consecutive order, they are 8, 10, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 22, 23, 26, 28, 32, 36, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 45. And the number 32 is the most drawn at 323 times.
I feel like we're lottery announcers right now.
We are. Those are the winning numbers. Go buy that
I
combination.
can't wait. I can't wait to win the lottery now.
Me too.
Well, that wraps up our episode today on lotteries. We hope you enjoyed it, and please share it with a friend.
Let us know your thoughts and check us out on Instagram at Make It Shine Money. And don't forget to make it shine.
This little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna make it shine, make it shine, make it shine, make it shine.
Any views or opinions represented in this podcast are personal and belong solely to the podcast creators and do not represent those of people, institutions, or organizations that the owner may or may not be associated with in professional or personal capacity unless explicitly stated.